My friend, if you're struggling finding, vetting, training, and managing virtual team members for your real estate business, I have the solution for you. Call Magicians is the premier virtual assistant company in the real estate industry. And basically what they'll do is allow you to focus on closing more deals and doing the things you love while they handle the work for you. Head over to callmagicians.com and see if you're a good fit to work together. And make sure you use the promo code FLIPEMPIRE for a 20% discount off your startup fee. And by the way, the owner's a friend of mine and shares tons of value, gives a lot of useful tips on episode 540. So check it out at flipempire.com/540.
You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
Here we go. I hope this episode finds you doing amazing in your life and business. Name is Alex Pardo, and I want to start by just recognizing just a few of the many who've taken an opportunity to leave a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. I can't tell you how much it is appreciated, and believe it or not, it really helps the ranking of the show. It's one small way that that you could that you're basically thanking me for this show. Not that it's required by any means. You just giving me your time, energy, and attention and listening to the show is more than enough. But for those of you who have taken just a little bit of time out of your day, Bruce Tyler, Alex's point of view and podcast have always piqued my interest. His tribute episode for his friend Adrian really shows how good of a person Alex is. It truly inspired me to change my life for the better. We are not getting any younger. Let's live life to the fullest and find ways to create a better life for ourselves and our family. This show will help you. Bruce, thank you so much for your words. There's a few others, Carol Fish, Chase, Yolanda, Troy Neville. Thank you all for, again, the ratings and review. So appreciate it. I want to take an opportunity to just kind of highlight a few housekeeping items before I dive into the heart of today's podcast episode, but do not fast forward because this is something that you'll want to hear. You know, I've been searching for and just really tapping into my relationships and into my network because one of the things I've really thought about is how can I separate this podcast episode from others? You know, I really believe that people are choking on content. But what they're really after is they're starving for execution. You know, it's people listen to podcasts like this and others and attend events because of what the information can do for them. But what I really want to encourage you to do and what I've attempted to accomplish with this podcast is not just giving you the X's and O's, but really diving deeper into the root cause of certain things, because it's not enough to know what to do or how to do it, but how do you not put that donut in your mouth when you're trying to lose 10, 15 pounds, right? You know you shouldn't eat the donut, but yet you still do it. So what the aim of this podcast is not just to provide you with the how, but to dive deeper, get into the psychology, put the who in front of you that can help you see things from a different perspective. I think a perfect example of that is my friend and coach, Steve Cook, who we just had on episode 566. I so want to encourage you to listen to that episode. It's about entrepreneurs and how to have a healthy, thriving marriage and business. I've gotten so much positive feedback on that. But you know, the other part of it is along the lines of the how. It's putting the right resources in front of you, whether it's a tool, a service. You know, obviously I'm biased because my good friend Steve Kavanaugh and I run Ascend, which, by the way, shameless plug, we do have a couple of seats open at this time. We're getting ready to increase the investment in that. So if you hear this within the next couple of weeks and you schedule a call, you bring it to our attention, we will still honor the current investment to be a part of that. But that's kind of like step 5 and 6, right? The first 4 or 5 steps is it a right fit? Can we help you? Can you contribute to our community, which is just thriving and our members are doing better than ever? We don't take any credit for that, but we have created an environment and a community that fosters accountability and fosters supporting one another. And that's actually one of the things I'm going to touch on today's episode. which I believe you will get a lot out of. But the second thing is, I currently have one sponsorship spot for the podcast, and I really want to just shine a spotlight on our two existing sponsors, Left Main, REI, Stephanie Betters and her team. It's just phenomenal what they have built. It is easily one of the best CRMs I have seen out there for real estate investors. So make sure you check that out. And then Call Magicians, my good buddy Stratton has created a service that can really help you when it comes to virtual assistants that do cold calling and lead generation for you. So check out Call Magicians as well. But really, one of the things that I wanted to share with you is my friend Greg Pinio, who I've also had on the podcast, asked me not too long ago. He's putting on an event in Las Vegas in June of next year, and it's an event about leadership. One of the things that I've realized is leadership is one of those skills you just constantly need to be refining and sharpening and honing in on, because whether you realize it or not, you're always required to lead. Whether you're a father, a wife, a husband, a mother, you run a business, you're looking to run a business, the skill of influence and leadership is something that is required to be successful in today's day and age. I really believe that. And Greg asked me to be a table captain, so this event is going to have 10, 15 tables. Each table is going to have a table captain that's going to spearhead topic-based conversations around leadership, not just leadership in business, but leadership in life. And it's really gotten me, first of all, I'm super grateful and humbled that I'm one of not too many people he asked to kind of be a table captain to have conversations around leadership, because one of my aims and goals is to create better leaders. And leadership is one of those things that it's constantly at the forefront of my mind. So I was really just kind of looking back at some notes I've jotted about leadership, and things that I know to be true, things that I'm still discovering, things that I'm questioning, right? Not just about leadership, but about myself. What has worked for me? What hasn't? How could I have been a better leader in certain situations? And really, I think it's kind of, I hate to boil it down to a handful of things, but there are 6 things that I want to share with you on today's podcast that I believe if you keep this at the center of your world when it comes to leadership, I believe that these are the things that will help you to become better leaders. And if you have aspirations to inspire and help others become better leaders, I think these are the things that you need to share with them and have conversations with them around. I'm sure at this event we're going to be having intimate conversations around some of these things and more. But number one, in no particular order, I think it all starts with having a clear vision. I alluded to my friend and coach, Steve Cook. He was the first one that ever taught me why the importance of having a personal vision for your life. But I think when it comes to just having a clear vision, and we're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and focus this episode on leadership when it comes to business. You got to be able to clarify your vision so that you can make the best possible decisions about your people, your processes, finances, customers, the strategy. That's one of the things that Gino Wickman really highlights in his book Traction is you have to clarify your vision so that you can make better decisions about your business. And as an entrepreneur, there's so many decisions we have to make on a daily basis. And I don't know about you, but I don't always feel that I'm making the best decision, but I do feel that more is lost by indecision than by making the wrong decision, right? And that's one of the things I've learned with leadership. So, whatever business you're building or you've built, whether it's you have a wholesaling business, fix and flip business, a storage business, or some type of other commercial asset that you've built a business around, what do you want this business to look like? How many team members or employees? What's the revenue? How many locations? Is it brick and mortar? Is it virtual? Who does your business serve? What do you want it to do? Right? So what's the bigger purpose for the business? So really hone in and clarify your vision. Secondly is, what kind of culture are you breeding? Because whether you realize it or not, there's a culture that exists within your business. And one of the things I have come to know and learn is that Um, Customers will never love a company until the team members of that company love it first. Let me repeat that. Your customers cannot be loyal evangelists, raving fans, as I believe Ryan Holiday refers to it, uh, until your team members are raving fans and loyal evangelists, whether that's a 1099 part-time virtual assistant or whether it's a high-paying COO of your business. Do your team members love your business? What kind of culture do you have? Do your core values attract the right people, or do they repel the right people? Do they attract the wrong people or repel the wrong people? Right? Think about the type of culture that you have in your business, because core values ultimately define who you are. And I once heard it. They serve as the bumpers of your business, right? And you need to be hiring, firing, promoting, incentivizing based on your core values. And I see core values as one of the things that really enhance or detract from the culture of your business, right? Number 3, Jim Collins talked about this in his book, Good to Great. Do you have the right people in the right seats? And are you the type of leader that's listening to your team and their pain points? Or is it your way or the highway? Because if you're the smartest person in your company, or even worse, if you think you're the smartest person in your company, then you probably haven't done a very good job of surrounding yourself with the right people and or taking the time to make sure that you're putting them in the right seats. So Jim Collins, the book Good to Great, goes into this a lot deeper and a lot more profound than I just did, but really question if you have the right people in your organization. And if you don't, that's on you. Or maybe you do have the right people, but they're wearing the wrong hats. They just, i.e., they're in the wrong seats. Number 4, focus, right? Focus. Do you have just a relentless focus on your goals? Are your goals clearly defined, and is there buy-in from the rest of your team? So, one of the things that I've also learned, one of the many things I've learned throughout the years, and I haven't always gotten this right, is wanting to say yes to everything, right? And everything looks like an opportunity if you don't have a vision. And so when you don't have a vision, I find that more people say yes to things, but when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else, right? And when you're saying no to one thing, you might be saying yes to finding the right opportunity. So I would challenge you to say no to more things so that you can say yes to the right thing. And I've had conversations with other Ascend members within our community that kind of have a little bit of a different take, where it's like, well, I'm in a period of my life where I want to try to say yes to more things, but that's because they have a clearly defined vision and they're saying yes to things that fit their vision. But because I know that most people don't have a clearly defined vision, I challenge you to say more to no things and have back to clarity, back to focus. I'm trying to tie this all in for you, is that when you have clarity and focus, you're able to identify the right things so that you can say yes to those things. Hopefully this is making sense. Number 5, do you put a high value on personal growth? How are you challenging yourself? What books are you reading? What are you learning? Who are your core 5, right? Who are the people that you spend the most time with? When was the last time you challenged yourself and put yourself in a really uncomfortable spot or situation? I think if you take a few minutes to think back to when you were uncomfortable, what you might realize is that those were times in which you grew. Did you lean into that, or did you shy away from it? So how are you fostering an environment of personal growth, of self-development? Not just with the books you read or listen to, but the events that you attend, the communities or masterminds that you're a part of. Is it time to find the right community, to find the right mastermind? These are all things that you want to thought audit, think through, ask yourself, challenge yourself. And if you don't find or have the ability to do that, find the friend that you know will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and ask them to evaluate you. And then lastly, What is the motivation outside of your business? Money is very valuable. Money is very important. Uh, and what I find is that when you struggle for money, it's hard to focus on other things, right? So it's important that we get money figured out because money is a tool. Money provides freedom. Money gives us the ability to experience certain things, to help people. I was just in a situation where I had somebody close to me kind of found themselves in a very tough spot, and they asked me for money, and I was immediately struck by gratitude in that I was in a position where I could help them. And for me, that's one of the things that's most valuable about money, is that it gives you the ability to help others. It gives you freedom and flexibility. And I'm nowhere near where I'm going, right? And there's still things that I want to accomplish, and there's still things that I'm figuring out. But money can't be the ultimate motivating factor outside of your business for you. Like we talked about legacy, in one of the previous, a couple podcasts ago, I think it was podcast 565, we talked about legacy and, how would people say you make them feel? So money's important, figure money out, but there's gotta be something bigger to your world and to your life than just making money. Right? When you hear people tell stories through their books, through audio of when they were on their deathbed, they're usually, and when I say usually, I'm talking like 98% of the time, not talking about this deal or that deal, or I wish I would have made more money, or I wish I would have done this. They're talking about experiences or lack thereof. They're talking about people. They're talking about the impact people had on them, and hopefully the impact they had on people. They're talking about, they're going into their memory bank for who they got to experience life with, the things they did, their travels, conversations, defining moments in their life. Most of the time, it's not about, I wish I would have made an extra million or 10 million or 100 million bucks, because you can't take it with you. So what's the motivating factor for you outside of business? What drives you? Who are you at your core? These are some of the things I'm hoping kind of spark up a desire in you to get the answers to these questions. Ask yourself difficult questions, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are challenging you by asking you these questions, or variation of these questions. That's one of the things that we are constantly challenging ourselves within our community, within Ascend, is asking these questions, making sure that we're helping people and walking alongside them, gaining clarity, gaining focus on not just their business, but their life. Why do they exist? You guys probably know, if you tune into the show, I had a good friend of mine, Adrian Nez, not too long ago, pass away. And that's really stirred up a lot of these questions in me. So I'm hoping this podcast is an extension of that, and it gets you thinking about some of these things. What's your legacy? How are you making people feel? Are you in a position where you can help others, not just financially, but are you willing to help others with your time, with your resources, with your connections, with your network? Because there's numerous ways to help and impact others. Money is just one of those ways. So that's what I got for you on today's show. Any questions or anything you want to connect with me on, feel free to reach out. You know where to find me, ascendyoursuccess.com, if you want to have a conversation about Ascend. And that's all I got for you. I'm super pumped. I have my buddy David Richter, who is the author of I'm forgetting the name of the book, but it's basically, he focuses on the profit first system for real estate investors and entrepreneurs. I'm going to have him on the podcast talking about profit first and some of the nuances, how he's been able to really implement that system in his business, and how he's helped others implement it in their real estate investing business. So Look forward to that episode, and make sure that you're subscribed so that you get you're notified every Monday and Thursday when new shows get released. Have an amazing day. If somebody hasn't told you that you can do it, let me be someone to tell you today that you got this, you can do it. It might not always be clear why you're doing what you're doing, but you need to be committed to the destination, but you got to be flexible with the route. So get clarity, have focus on the destination, but give yourself some latitude and some grace and be flexible with the route. Have an amazing day. I'll connect with you on the next show. Take care.
Hope you enjoyed that episode, but before you go, I've had a lot of people recently reach out to me wanting to learn more about Ascend, wanting to understand how the mastermind component works, how the coaching relationship works. And so right now we're actually on a waiting list, but what I would encourage you to do is if you think you're the right fit and you think you could benefit from being a part of our community, head over to ascendyoursuccess.com, watch the short video, and then just click the apply to join button below. And then we'll be in contact with you if and when a spot opens up. So really appreciate you listening to Flip Empire here, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care.